We're live! Hey everybody, I am Melissa Hunter and I am live, and behind me, behind the laptop, is my husband, who is making Black Forest cake for Oktoberfest tomorrow. And so if you hear any kitchen noises, it's certainly not me, because I don't do that kind of stuff. Sweet Willie does. Sweet Willie's Kitchen. Now see, Sweet Willie's Kitchen is an example of a show that was made for adults, but kids watch it. So we will be talking about how that plays into this. Now, I do not know if you guys know that I'm live over here. No, there's 4 people watching. Okay, good. So people have found it. Okay, so I am going to wait until it is exactly 7:30. I talked to Caden, my teenager, and there is no Nintendo Direct this week, so he will not be screaming obscenities in the background. And hopefully, Sweet Willie will not be screaming obscenities while making Black Forest cake. He's not. See, he doesn't scream obscenities. I do. I'm an obscenity kind of person. I'll tell you, lately, last 3 weeks, I've really been rocking the obscenities. It's definitely been an 013 kind of thing around the house here with me. I'm all nice and sweet when I'm talking to you guys, and then I walk around the house saying, "Oh, you should hear it." You should just hear it. Oh, it's just horrible. Oh. My poor family. Oh, the humanity. They're so tired of hearing about YouTube. So we have 1 more minute, and I was going to try to make fancy slides and like be all professional, and like that didn't happen. So I have, I'm just hashtag so profesh. And I came up with I actually came up with a new tagline for myself. But I totally forgot what it was. Wait, what was it? It was the hashtag so profesh motto is, just get it done and have the fun, or something like that. I don't know. Okay, so it's 7:30. We are ready to go. Hello. So I am Melissa Hunter from Family Video Network. I am the owner and founder of Family Video Network, a network that is an MCN. It's also a consulting company, and we just do a bunch of other stuff. And we're just, because I am a YouTuber, and all of my friends are YouTubers, just really into this whole family community. And I work really closely with you guys and then with YouTube and trying to make everything work. And it's been, so the first thing I want to address is, and then I'm going to get into some updates, and then answer some of your questions. So we're going to go until 8:30. Okay, so the one thing that I keep seeing in different forums, including in our Family Video Creators group that we started on Facebook, is that it's unfair that because YouTube broke the law, we are getting punished. I want to make it clear that we also broke that law. So we knew that the terms and conditions of having a YouTube account and hosting to YouTube were that, it was for people 13 and up. But, I knew my daughter was on YouTube like at the age of 6 years old on my account, right? So I knew that she wasn't supposed to be, but we set up an account for her. And so, technically, we were breaking the law. And then when we started creating content that was clearly for kids on a platform that we knew the terms and conditions said is for people 13 and over, we were breaking the rules and technically breaking the law. So, but you're like, yeah, but YouTube gave us a wink and a nod and they went with it. And I'm not taking any responsibility away from YouTube on this. Yes, YouTube totally let it happen, but we also participated. So I think we need to, we've had a few weeks to be in our grieving victim mentality. And now I would really like it if we could move beyond that and let go of the YouTube broke the law and we are getting punished mentality, and move to the constructive part of what we can do for the next 3 months and a week and a half before all of this happens. Okay, so that's my little mommy lecture for the night. Okay, I want to clarify for people for whom this might be a little confusing. What there's two. So there's the Federal Trade Commission, which is part of the federal government. That's why it's federal, and their mandate is to ensure fair business practices. Okay, fairness in business. That's what the FTC's mandate is. Now they go far and wide with how they handle that, but that's what they were established to do. Then there's Coppa, C-O-P-P-A, the Children's Online Protection Policy Act. Wow, did I just forget what Coppa stands for? Whew, it's been a long week. Okay, so Coppa was started by another organization called CARU, C-A-R-U. CARU is it's now part of the Better Business Bureau, but it's the advertising agency's way to self-regulate, self-monitor, and control advertising to children. In 1996, CARU realized that there was some stuff going on, with this internet of things and children, and so they drew up some rules, which then became Coppa, which is a law that the FTC brought into our lives. And so there's these three different groups here, and they all intersect. And then there's YouTube, and then there's us. So we will return to CARU, C-A-R-U, at some point. Maybe not this week, because it's that's a whole other can of worms that someone's going to open in 2020. I'm sure of. Okay. Couple of reminders. Nothing is changing until January 1st. So the algorithm that we have now, as confused and damaged as it is the algorithm we have. That is not changing until January 1st. So whatever the rules of the road are under this algorithm, and monetization and demonetization and community guidelines and all of that stuff, those rules are still in effect. So if you are someone who has historically created content for children and posted videos on your channel for children, for people under the age of 13, and you suddenly make an about face in the next 3 months and a week and start posting sexual content or horror content, or you start dropping the F-bombs in toy reviews, you are still at the mercy of the current guidelines, which means you will get demonetized, you could get a community guideline strike, your video could be taken down. So remember what the rules were and are, okay? And then the rules are going to be different starting January 1st, okay? So that's important. So nothing is changing till January 1st. They do hope to have a version of this it's called self-select, self-identification. We're going both ways on that tool. Sometime around November, maybe, for us to start playing with and understanding. Okay. So a few things happened this week to further confuse all of us, okay? Let's start with this morning. I thought I was going to have such a good day today. I was going to get really caught up. I was going to edit videos first thing this morning, but then people woke up and YouTube had rolled out the advertiser guidelines, monetization, self-select beta, which has been in beta for over a year. They rolled that out to like everybody. And so people woke up, and when they were uploading their videos today, they saw a new thing pop up under monetization that was asking them to self-rate their video. And they were like, oh my gosh, is this the Coppa thing? What do I do? How am I supposed to do this? Oh my God, what are the implications of me checking the wrong box? So, that was fun. So that is completely different. And so what I talked to YouTube this afternoon, they made very clear to me that anything that is rolled out that has to do with the FTC ruling is going to be made very clear and obvious to us and will be announced and explained before it appears in our upload flow, in our analytics, or anything like that. So anything that happens, like this self-rating beta, which I'm sure that department that was like finally ready to roll that out to the world, never even stopped to think that there's a group of creators out there that are going to have a stroke when they see that this morning. They were just like, yay, it's out of beta, woo! You know, and meanwhile, we're all like, you know, down in aspirin and wine at the same time. So yeah, so it will be very obvious, and we will be notified ahead of time. So anything, so anything odd that happens, like let's say YouTube decides to take away the verified check mark, and then go, oops, our bad, never mind, we're not going to do that. That never had anything to do with the FTC. It never had anything to do with our vertical in particular. It was just a thing they thought was going to be a good idea. And this is one opportunity that we had where everybody being ticked off led YouTube to go, oops, sorry, forget we said it. Flashy thing from Men in Black, forget we said anything, just go on with your life. Nothing's changing. What was the other thing? Okay, so now on to the FTC, actual FTC stuff, okay? To clarify, please remember that this is all going to be based on the intent of the creator. So I'm making videos. My intended audience for my video is people of all ages, but that includes people under 13, okay? Always has, always will. It's mommy's world where you never have to grow up, no matter how old you get. Well, you might be 3 or 53, it doesn't matter. So knowing that I create for an audience that does definitely, and I mean to include children under the age of 13, I will self-select when the time comes, when the box comes, I will self-select that my content is for people under the age of 13, okay? I'm gonna do that. He's trying to give me the thing to lick from the cake while I'm on live Facebook. I mean, who would do that? I would never do that live on Facebook. That's so unprofessional. Okay. So it's the intent of the creator. So I keep using PewDiePie as an example, but there are other people. So there's PewDiePie, there's Graveyard Girl, there's Jeffree Star, the makeup artist. There are a lot of people who create content and their intended audience is like, teens, 20-somethings, grown-ups. They're no way intending to make content for people under 13. Does that mean no one under the age of 13 watches them? No, lots of people under the age of 13 watch them, but they are not targeting that age group, and they are not making content intending to be viewed by that age group. So they don't need to check the box when the time comes. So remember, it's about the intended audience. And I know, because I know we keep circling back to gamers. Now, there are some gamers who are definitely making kid-friendly gaming content. And, they need to look in their heart and say, am I making these videos for kids or adults? I mean, if you're playing like, I don't know any little kids online games anymore, but, if you're playing some, Disney princess game, you're probably not doing it with the intention of people, 14-year-olds watching it. I mean, I play Disney princess dress-up games, but I'm a weirdo. So, and I embrace my weirdness. I love my weirdness, so it's the intended audience. How does YouTube know what my intended audience is? In most cases, this is very clear, guys. For some of us, this is very clear. Where it gets muddied is the family vloggers. Well, are they making content for the parents or for the kids? If the answer is you're making content for the whole family, like my thing, I'm making content for people of all ages, you have to check the box. But if you're making content, I mean, if you're doing, like cleaning videos and grocery shopping hauls, your intended audience is not children. And now in those cases, if you have a channel that's in that bubble region and like you're a family vlog, and sometimes you're doing videos that definitely kids are going to love, you're going to make the video and you're going to check the box. And other times you're making videos like, you know, speed cleaning my house, or, you know, how I weed my garden, okay? And you're not going to check the box because you're obviously making that for the grown-ups that watch. And then if there's videos that are like intended for the whole family to watch together, then you got to check the box, okay? And we're going to get more direction on that as the time comes. So there will be more communication from YouTube. Now, one question I do actually have an answer to. We had a lot of open questions, and those questions are all still open with YouTube. They do not have answers for us yet. But one of them was, if you are starting a new channel, which I've considered doing, but like, when do I have time to do that? When? Okay, but let's say you want to start a channel because you want to separate out, like you know you make stuff for kids, but you also do stuff for adults, and you're like, okay, well, I'm going to separate that. So I'm going to make a channel where I do like the crafts that are aimed towards, you know, the more complicated stuff, the older crafter, and then I'm going to do the kids crafts over here where I do them now, okay? If you're going to start a new channel, you can introduce and announce that channel on your current channel, and you can use your community tab and everything, but you just need to be really clear and disclose that the intended audience for the new channel is 13 and over. Just be really clear on that. Listen to what I'm saying. Disclose and be really clear that the new channel is for your viewers and fans who are 13 and over. Okay? Okay, so now a lot of you have had calls with your YouTube reps where they have been able to give you a level of impact. Where, you know, they say, what is it, like, well, let's see, highly affected. So Mommy's World is going to be highly affected as far as advertising when they flip the switch in January. Shocker. But, you know, some other channels may have been given the information that they are moderately, that it is anticipated that it will be moderate, I blame the chocolate. You know, just a little bit affected. Any of that guidance is for directional purposes only, meaning that it is not set in stone. It is not gospel. It is just to help you understand kind of where the system thinks you're at now, so it can help you make choices. Okay, it's for directional purposes only. The data that the system is using to give that output, that data does not include the new classifiers and does not include the self-select button. It doesn't include any of that. So, you know, yes, use it for direction, but it is not, you know, totally gospel. So I just realized I didn't have the comments thing. I was thinking just no one was commenting. Okay, now I finally get to see the comments. Okay, all right. There was another thing that that a few people have told me that their reps told them about changing the titles on your videos. To put the name of your channel first and to make the title be like an action sentence. Any of that direction, if you were given that direction, is not based on anything having to do with the FTC or having to do with the new self-selection, over 13, under 13. That might just be like a new best practice on titles. It has nothing to do with the FTC or the Coppa thing at all. So, yeah. Okay. It would be nice if they. Yes, I would like them to adapt the MPAA rating system. Okay. So let me go back here. Oh, thank you. I'm spending. You know, the cake was delicious. Okay. So before we go to questions, and then I'm going to read the comments and see if there's any questions in there that we need to address. There is the event taking place in October 7th in DC. I am going to it. I am not going to be allowed to speak. So the public can attend, but we can't speak. What we can do is there will be a Twitter that we can tweet questions to. There will be a special email inbox that we can email to, and people who are there, we can write down questions. One good thing is that I missed the deadline to apply to be a panelist, but Mother Goose Club did not. So Mother Goose Club will be representing us creators on one of the panels at this open comment forum. And you can comment in writing. You have until October 23rd. And at Family Video Network, we're working on, you know, putting together some language and suggestions about, because look, we don't want to do away with Coppa. We're not going to do away with Coppa. That's not going to happen. But there are things in there that are outdated, that don't take into consideration, you know, the world where, you know, shared devices where, you know, I'm looking at, you know, makeup video tutorials on my phone, and then I give it to my 5-year-old and they watch Ryan, right? There's some realities that Coppa never even, the people couldn't, you know, just didn't see it coming. Just never thought that, to even think that that was going to be a thing, right? We didn't think people would be carrying the internet around in their pocket. So we will be putting together some talking points, and as we get closer to that, and luckily we have until October 23rd for the stuff in writing. So you can send in letters. There's an online submission thing. So we're going to pull that all together. Blah, 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 what else? I still don't have an answer one way or another. What about sponsored videos? Are sponsored videos in the world of kids content going away? There is no answer to that question. But it is something that people are talking about. How should that be handled going forward, especially in light of the secondary situation with the FTC, where they are, there was a letter of complaint made to the FTC about Ryan's channel and disclosing his toy line. So, you know, we're still waiting on that one. And those were all my updates. So let me go into the questions now. And let's see, I was under the impression that, okay, so from Danica, you were under the impression that the 13 up rule was just to make an account and upload. Well, right, you figured it would be up to the parents to supervise their kids, right? And that's what we, you know, that's what we all figured. But it's kind of like, we're driving down the highway and the speed limit's 65 and everybody's going 70. Some people are going 85. Some people are going 70. Some people are going 75. It was a rule. It's a rule. It's a law. We were all complicit in, you know, us trying to, my point on that was us trying to say that we are completely innocent victims in this situation is probably not accurate. And we need to just sort of let go of that is where I was going with my thought process there. Let's see, it's not everyone, it's still in beta. Okay, so Robert Lee tells me that if you don't see, Robert Lee knows these things, the self-rating on monetization, you may not see that. It is still not rolled out to everybody. They just rolled it out more broadly. It's still in beta. This thing's going to be in beta forever. Let's see, people saying hello, hello. Now I need cake, yes. Ham awesome. Don't you lose comments? Okay, so Ryan Tennant asks, by selecting though, don't you lose comments, notifications, and monetization? Okay, so to clarify, the self-selection of content for under 13, you can select at the video level. When you select at the video level, and this is something that they are still trying to figure out. So like the community tab and notifications are both channel level features. So that you can't turn that on or off per video. That is on or off at the channel level. Comments and monetization are handled at the video level. So if you have a video that is, and you self-select that it's for under 13, and you do that at the video level, the comments will be disabled on that video. And the monetization does not get disabled. What will not be served on that video is personalized ads. Now, You actually all along, by the way, we have all along had the ability to protect children from targeted advertising because we all could have turned off the serving of personalized ads on our channel. Of course, we would have gotten no ads, and no one really explained that to us. But you could do it now if you wanted. So personalized ads, targeted ads won't be served on that video because you check the box to say that it's for under 13, but contextual ads will be served. Now, the reason that we are saying that the impact to creators is going to be huge financially is that contextual ads make up a very, very small portion of ads sold by YouTube. So we're going to see way less ad revenue if you've got the box checked for being under 13. Now, some channels may want to choose, like, just to make my life easier, I'm just going to click for my whole channel, I'm under 13. Well, I'm not under 13. I mean, I look good for 52, but I definitely can't pass for under 13. But it's just easier for me. You will also be able to bulk designate. So like, let's say you were a channel where, and you've been on YouTube for 10 years. And when you started out, your kids were like 6, 7, 8 years old. Well, now they're, you know, they're in college, right? So your earlier videos were probably the viewership and the target audience was the under 13 gang, right? So you can select like those 300 videos or whatever and just bulk choose these are for under 13. And then these other ones are the over 13. Okay, so we're going to have those options so that we don't have to go through, you know, because some people have like 5,000, 6,000 videos. It's like, I have to go through each video? No, you don't. The question is, though, is there a tipping point where if you are a channel that has some videos selected as for under 13 and some videos self-selected for over 13, is there a tipping point where the community tab and notifications go away? We do not have an answer to that question yet. Still working on that one. So Ryan, I hope I explained that a little bit better. Did they comment on channels whose comments are, if your comments are, okay, so Jessica wants to know, did they comment on channels whose comments are currently disabled and if there is a correlation to being highly affected? They're actually two different things. So comments that are currently disabled has to do with suspected or potential pedophile activity in the comments. And the highly affected advertising thing has to do with different classifiers entirely. So no, they are not related. I mean, but it's entirely possible that your comments are turned off and you're highly affected, because if you're making videos with kids in them, then there's a strong possibility that you were a potential target for pedophiles. And so YouTube turned off your comments. And at the same time, because you make content for kids with kids in it, you're going to be highly affected when we have to self-identify in January. So, I mean, I can see where they would go together. What about, okay, Julia Crystal Ramsey wants to know, what about selling your own products? So, Julia, if you are promoting a product that you made, that you sell, it's your own product, if your audience is children, you need to see, the thing is the disclosure has to be clear, conspicuous, and easy for your audience to understand. And so if your audience is children and you know that your audience is children, then you need to really kind of over communicate that, you know, if this is mommy's hand pad thingy that I'm selling, and if you buy one of these, mommy, I make money, so thank you for buying my thingy. Okay, if my audience is, you know, my age, they know that. Like if I'm like, you know, this is mommy's hand pad thingy, you know, you can buy them now, link below. Adults realize I'm going to make money from that. So it's about what will your audience understand. If you're trying to still use notifications. Okay, so Margaret, I think I kind of answered that questions. Any other suggestions similar to the video titles that the YouTube are okay? 10 notes posted on the Twitter. Okay. Tammy, okay. Did you ask about the July algo change that has killed off? Yeah, so we asked about that last week. We asked about it again this week. So July 11th, it went, you know, and it was already in bad shape. Let's face, you know, I mean, things went wrong in May, and then it went really wrong in July. And they are still waiting for that to settle itself down. I am told that it does not have anything to do with the FTC Coppa investigation or ruling. So that's the answer to that. Let's see. Are there more questions that I didn't see? No, I think. Okay, any other questions? Wow, because 7:58, no wonder why. I've been talking for an hour? Wow. Half an hour? Oh, that's right, 7:30. We're done at 8:30. Ooh, boy. We might be done earlier. People don't have a lot more questions, maybe. I don't know. Okay, Charles Cavallo, how about Teespring merch on your channels? If you have Teespring merch, or if you have any merch and you're selling on your channels and your audience is under 13, you need to be extremely careful in the way that you direct them to that content. So you can't ask kids to buy stuff. And you can't ask children. Now, this comes from that CARU organization. So the Advertising Self-Regulation Board, which is what CARU is, they made a bunch of rules. And a lot of these rules show up in contracts that you sign when you're doing sponsored content. So we have to be very careful when selling to children. We just basically shouldn't be selling to children is basically what it means. But of course but Melissa, there's commercials all over the television for kids' toys. Who are they targeting? Obviously, they're targeting children. But pay attention next time to commercials that are on like the Disney Channel and stuff. When there's any kind of a call to action about that it's in stores now, or you can get this, or blah, 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 it is said by an adult voice. It is not said by the children in the video. So children cannot sell to children. So if you're doing a sponsored video and you're told that, you know, I have one right now that it says in the contract, and I was like, yeah, no, very strong call to action to buy these at Walmart. And I was like, no, not happening. And I explained to them, I'm like, I can't strong arm kids, first of all. I can't tell them to ask mom and dad to go get it for them at Walmart. I can't tell them they can buy it at Walmart. What I can say is this seltzer can be found at Walmart. This seltzer is available at Walmart. That's all I can say. Now, if there is a link involved, I can say, parents, for more information, see the description. The parents have to figure out for themselves that I mean there's a link in the description. Because if you tell kids that there's a link in the description to click on, then you are inviting children to click on a link to a third-party site that is probably not Coppa compliant. You know, guys, it's such a minefield. I'm surprised that we we haven't been. Oh, so Teespring. I still didn't answer the question about Teespring. So you can have your Teespring merch link in your description, and you guys can wear your merch, and you can even say, you know, somewhere in your video, you can be like, hey, like, I'm actually wearing my own merch. Ta-da! See, Spreadshirt. And so I could say, like, I'm wearing my Mommy's World shirt from Spreadshirt. I never told them to go click on the link in the description to go buy it, though. Danica, what happens if you are going through all of your videos and you miss some of the kids' content and accidentally tag? There's going to be a learning curve and a period of mistakes for all of us. But on our end, on the machine's end, I expect January, February, and March to be a complete show. So we're all going to make mistakes. Robert Lee, a thought. At this time, we can turn off notifications when we upload a new video. Seems this could be an integral part of the self-select button. That would be really helpful, Robert. You know who to tell. Go tell them that. Jam and Jesse, my daughter Jam is almost 13. If she makes a review that is not meant for kids under 13, should I still check the box? This is something you have to ask yourself. If really and truly the intended audience for the video is really and truly not for people, it's not people under 13, then follow your conscience and do what you think you need to do with the box. This is on us. Stephen Amy Lee, hey guys, should we expect monetization in January to be as low as YouTube Kids now? Well, so there's some good news here. January ad revenue sucks anyway, right? So it's only going to be a little bit worse than usual. Will it be as low as YouTube Kids now? No. YouTube Kids has almost no advertising being sold against it. There is some contextual advertising being sold on the YouTube main, and YouTube is ramping up. But the messaging from them is to just prepare for the absolute worst. And then we can all be pleasantly surprised, or at least be prepared for the absolute worst, right? Jessica, is January 1st going to be straightforward as far as determining how affected we are going to be on that date? Will we have an answer for sure? I don't think so, Jessica. I think that January 1st, whatever's going to happen, whatever lever, button, whatever is going to get pushed, and then it's all going to go horribly wrong. And there's going to be a lot of false positives. There's going to be a lot of appealing. There's going to be a lot of fixing. There's going to be a lot of stress. There's going to be a lot of language inappropriate for people under the age of 18 running around in my house. And yeah, so I'm fully prepared for January to just be a hot mess, honestly. I mean, but look at every other rollout, right? When they try to, I mean, this is the thing. YouTube is huge and the algorithm is this behemoth. And when they try to change something on such a grand scale all at once, like they can't, this isn't something like with this beta, with this for monetization, this self-rating thing, this has been slowly creeping out for a year, okay? They're not doing it. They can't do that. They can't creep this out over a period of time. They're giving us this, we've got 3 months and a week left, right? And then they've got to push the button because the FTC says you have to push the button. We know that's not going to go well. When has it ever gone well? Dan, with comments going off and FTC looking over our shoulders, how best to notify watchers where to leave feedback comments? Can we say go to Instagram and comment there? Is it wise to shut down PO boxes for fan mail? Okay, so here's the thing. You just have to be very careful about how you word things. So if your comments are off on YouTube and you direct your viewers who you know to be kids that they can communicate with you on Instagram. Instagram is another platform that is really for 13 and over. So I would suggest, and I'm actually looking into this in my free time, that you point them towards something like Pop Jam, which is a Coppa compliant social media platform, so that you are not responsible for telling kids to go somewhere else that they shouldn't be. That would be my advice. PO boxes and fan mail, there's no reason to shut them down. You just need to be very careful in your call to action in using that. So, you know, instead of saying, hey guys, you can send us your drawings at blah, 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 you can say, parents, if your kids want to send us their drawings, this is our PO box. Okay, so you address the parents. You don't solicit mail from the children. Emma wants me to say hi. Hi, Emma! Happy late birthday, girl. Honey's Toy Hive. Should we be careful with toy giveaways? Ooh, I'm getting tired. Okay, I am actually planning a whole conversation about giveaways because that is just a whole thing by itself. So maybe next week, if I can pull it together, I will put together, it won't be a live stream. I'll probably just record a class about giveaways. But giveaways and kids, it's bad. It's really bad. Don't do it. Just with the FTC coming in, I'm like, I'd be like, no more giveaways. I stopped giveaways a while back. Alexa Rose. So you are saying that if we make content for over 13, we don't need to check the box. But if we have kids watching, even though that isn't our intended audience, is YouTube going to start checking the box for us? Alexa, they might. Oh, no. Wow, I said the name and she didn't talk to me. They might check the box for you. And that's why I'm saying that we don't know what's going to happen when January 1st comes. I mean, like, I have visions that are really horrifying of just everybody just getting stuff turned off because the machine knows that kids are watching everything. So, you know, it's going to be, but that could happen. That could happen. But there will be an appeals process. So if you know you're not making content targeting kids under 13 and the machine goes, oh, no, poop, but you will be able to appeal. There will be an appeals process. I expect that the appeals process, much like in the beginning with demonetization, there was a huge backlog. I would expect that we're going to see that same kind of, you know, trend of where in the beginning there's going to be a lot of false positives. There's going to be a backlog in getting your appeals won. Sometimes you're going to lose your appeal even though you know you're right. And that's just the way we're going to go. Should we put a disclaimer, this video is intended for over 13 on the screen? You certainly can. I mean, if your content, and I know what your content is, and I know that your intended audience really is adult females primarily. So, you know, you can put that there. Is it going to help you if you, with the machine? No, if the machine thinks because it sees baby dolls and it's like, oh no, these are baby dolls, you know, that's something that there are some categories that, like with, you know, high-end collectibles and reborns and stuff, that we're going to have to work with YouTube somehow to get the machine to understand what it's looking at. And you know, okay. Yeah, so I don't know if the disclaimer will protect you, but you know, it certainly, I don't think it can hurt you. Rosalind, it's really unfortunate that kids are being handed rights to be able to watch videos that aren't necessarily for them, and here creators like us are directly impacted by it. Yeah, it kind of stinks. Loads of alcohol for January 1st. Yeah, stock up on the champagne. Will adult toy collectors of kids' toys that make content for other collectors be okay? So, yeah, as an adult doll collector, this is really hard. There are some people, and I used Pixel Dan as my example on the first call. I think that we're going to have to do a lot of appealing. If your intended audience, if you're doing, you know, collectibles, and like Pixel Dan does like a ton of He-Man stuff and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stuff for the adult collector, okay? Pixel Dan stuff is, most of his videos are not filmed and edited in a way that is meant to appeal to children. It's very clear that they're meant to appeal to the adult collector. I mean, he's doing interviews and going to conventions. I am sure that the machine is going to see toys, and Dan is going to spend all of January and February appealing. And I think that's going to be the fate of anyone who has toys in their videos. I don't think the machine is going to be able to figure out that context, and I don't know how we go about doing that. Sorry, that was not an uplifting message, I know, but I'm just trying to be really honest about it. Let me see, did I miss anything in my notes? Sorry, I need to drink. I need a drink and I only have seltzer. But there is devil's food cake, so it's going to be all good. It's Friday. Wow. Okay. Oh, going back to Karu, one of the other things about selling to kids is also pester power. I think I mentioned this. Don't in videos tell kids to ask their parents for stuff. Don't do that. That's bad too. Okay, so Liza, we talked about this last time, but will it work to pivot an old, unused, but monetized channel to adult content if it was previously used for kids content? Liza, we are still waiting for an official answer to that from YouTube. It was kind of like, I don't see why that wouldn't work, but let's find out before we definitively say. So we're still holding on that. Kitty, Harley Quinn, not for under 13, but under 13 doing makeup tutorial. Yeah, where does the makeup tutorial thing go under 13? I think that's something that for your channel is something that we really need to look at and really think about. At what point did the makeup tutorials switch over from being for little girls to being for teenagers who are trying to achieve those looks? And so I think right there is the thought process that we need to kind of look at your videos from. What about Sanrio products like Hello Kitty, Gudetama? What if I want to show stationery, plushies, notebooks? Right. Okay. So what if you're an adult kawaii collector? I mean, like there's like, I mean, you know, I'm thinking like Helicopter, right? Like huge squishy collector. She's not making videos for kids, but she's making videos with squishies and kawaii stuff, right? And you're a kawaii person. You are going to be in the same boat as Pixel Dan and you know, I don't use my Mommy Geeks Out channel anymore, but that was where I, you know, my geek collectibles, which was, you know, for other, you know, teenage geeks and geeky people who like science fiction stuff. And it wasn't really stuff that, you know, kids would be into, like, you know, less Barbie, more like, you know, Babylon 5 and Star Trek, right? They're toys though. So the machine's going to look at it and they're going to see toys, and they're going to look at it and they're going to see Hello Kitty, and they're not going to understand that the Hello Kitty market is probably way more women over 25 than it is kids under 13, but the machine's not going to know that. And we're just going to have to keep appealing. Okay. Is she under 13? She's part of my superhero girls. My nieces have Harley Quinn toys. Okay, that was just a... what if you're making a video about your pets, but your kids are interacting with the pet for most of the video? Is that then a kid video because the kids are in it? It goes back to, who did you make the video for? This is where it goes to this whole intended audience thing. And this is where YouTube is putting it back on us and saying, what is your intended audience for this video? I don't know. Who was the intended audience for that video? I mean, like, is it moms and dads? Like, look at these cute kids. Or is it kids like, hey kids, look at these cute kids with the dog? That's up to you whether, you know, what your intended audience was. It's so hard. This is not going to be easy. And the thing that I ask everyone is to be really, really patient with YouTube. I know that's hard to do. I know that we so want to make them the villain in this. And I don't think that's constructive for us. I think if we stop trying to make them the victim and we try to think of them as a partner, you know, have you ever seen one of those movies where like the good guy and the villain end up having to work together? Not that I'm saying YouTube is the villain, but you know, kind of one of those like relationships where like you're really mad at someone, but you have to work together to get off this desert island or you're going to die. Okay, Sawyer and Jack on Lost, okay? Couldn't stand each other, really had to work together. Ultimately, they had each other's backs. See? That was for an over 13 audience. But I'm sure there are people under 13 who have watched Lost. So there. New comment. I'm losing it, guys. It's been a long week. Oh yeah, so should we, oh gosh. Yeah, I mean, Harley Quinn is inappropriate for under 13, yet was the best-selling costume that year for kids. I mean, there's a whole it's so confusing. Jessica, should we stop putting kids in thumbnails even if the content is for over 13? I would do that because that's one less thing that is going to trigger the machine. If the machine doesn't see kids in a thumbnail, that may help you. If your content is not for kids, then don't put kids in the thumbnail. That's an idea that works for me. Yeah. Any other questions? Oh, wait. Alexa Rose, what are your thoughts about the toy industry? Do you think they're going to lose a lot of revenue after January 1st? No, I honestly don't. They're right now, I'm talking to all of them. They're right now figuring out how to navigate this, because obviously influencers have had a huge influence in the toy world, because TV is not the place to advertise anymore because kids aren't watching TV. So they will probably, if I were a toy company, what I would do in Q1 is I would put more of my budget into pre-roll advertising, because that's going to get me more eyeballs. And I would wait things out and be working on coming up with a plan for how to deal with sponsored content. The place where things are going to get hard is for the smaller, for earned content for toys. So for my PR rep friends, my heart's breaking for them, because they're gonna lose all of the small and mid-tier influencers that they send free product to get exposure. A lot of those people are going to give up on doing YouTube. And so they're going to lose a big part of their marketing funnel, except for the people who really love toys to begin with, and that's why they do their channel, you know? So I think there will be a little bit of an impact, but kids are still going to want toys, and the toy companies will still find a way to work with this. Also, do you think that it's risky to do arts and crafts such as DIY and slime? Okay, so arts and crafts is great stuff. It's great if you're doing it for an adult audience. Go for it. Yeah, kids are going to watch. But if you're doing complex arts and crafts, and you're not saying things like, "Hey kids, today we're going to make," if you do it in the right way. But slime, you could do a very ASMR-y slime kind of thing, but I think slime just really screams under 13. So I just, yeah. Rosalind, I said your name right. Well, it looks like Rosalind. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you guys for coming out to this. Okay, so Margaret, what about sewing DIYs for kids' clothing? Oh, absolutely. That is mom content right there. Now, there are going to be kids who do sew. My child learned how to sew on a sewing machine at the age of 8, right? And we watched sewing tutorials, but we watched them together. But the majority of children are not looking up sewing tutorials like my kid was. So that is totally for grown-ups. And if kids watch it, no problem. Charles, curious to know, how do you think toy products will handle their own channels in which they promote their own products, and how YouTube will treat them? Well, isn't that the million-dollar question? Well, a lot of them don't run advertising on their own channels anyway, because they don't want somebody else's product to run before their video. I think a lot of them are going to be ramping up their own channels, and I think that there will be possibly, I've heard 2 different companies now talk about, instead of having the sponsored content appear on the influencer's channel, to have the influencers come over and guest on the brand's channel. So I think we might see more of that. Jessica, will the automatic machine mainly be looking at thumbnail and title similar to the limited ads system? We don't know what it's going to look for yet. I think it's going to be scanning the entire video. I think it's going to be listening. It might even go so far as to listen to see if it's hearing kids' voices. There are certain musical cues that are very clear, like that YouTube free music that everybody uses in their bleeping learn colors videos. Yeah, that music, I think if the machine hears that, it's just not even going to look at the video. It's just going to be like, oh no, that's that song. Bloop, that's for under 13, because no one over the age of 13 can stand the sound of that music. Right? So we are at 8:22. Any other questions? I know there's a whole bunch of people at CVX Live this weekend, and Sean McKnight is doing a presentation about this. And I'm really interested to hear how that went and what he had to say. So hopefully, you guys obviously aren't at CVX Live either. So hopefully someone will tell us next week. All righty. Well, it looks like we have run out of depressing questions to ask each other. So we will, I don't know if I'm going to do another live next week, but I will, I want to explain to you about the giveaways. I want to talk a little bit more about this Carew thing, because I think this is going to come more into play, because the FTC is going to be looking a little bit at this as well. They kind of, it all blends together. So I will try to do that for you next week, because, you know, apparently I don't make toy videos anymore because I don't have time. So thank you all so much for coming to our live stream. We do have a group called Family Video Creators, and let me see if you aren't in that group, which I think most of you are. So I'm sharing. How do I get a link to this? I don't know how to do that. Okay. I'm like, okay, wait, I think hashtag so profesh. Okay, wait, here, I think this is the link to the group. So you can click there to join the group. We are using that group to communicate updates, to answer questions. We're there 7 days a week. We're in this with you guys, and we just really, please don't give up. Just don't give up. The kids need us, and we'll make it through this. We will. It's going to be a little bumpy, but anything worth doing is usually kind of bumpy, right? Yeah. So have a great weekend, everybody, and I will see you online. Bye.